Hello everyone, welcome back to the video tutorial series of the operating system. I am your instructor Varshata. Let's start our lecture series. So at the end of this video, you will be able to learn about the memory partitioning. In last lecture, we have discussed about what is memory and then we have seen the memory requirement. Okay, so today we will discuss what is memory partitioning. So memory partitioning is the system by which the memory of a computer system is divided into the sections for use by the resident programs. Okay, so it is divided in the different parts. This memory is divisions is known as the partitions. Okay, so what is the memory partition? The memory partition is a system by which the memory of the computer system is divided into sections for use of the resident of the program. So this memory is divided into sections. That section is known as the memory partitioning. Okay, so there are two memory management techniques. Basically, there are two memory management techniques which are contiguous memory allocations and non-contiguous memory allocations. Okay, so in contiguous allocation, executing a process must be loaded entirely in the main memory. Okay, so in contiguous memory allocations, every process, entire process should be loaded in the memory. Contiguous memory allocations have different types, that is fixed allocations, or we can say static allocation, or fixed or static partitioning. Then we can say the variable or dynamic partitioning. Okay, so contiguous techniques can be divided into two parts, that is a fixed or variable. Let's see. Now fixed partitioning, the earliest and one of the simplest technique which can be used to load more than one process into the main memory is a fixed partitioning or contiguous memory allocations. Okay, so in contiguous memory allocations, we are in fixed partitioning, this is the earliest and the one of the simplest technique which can be used to load more than one process into the main memory. So it is a fixed partitioning or contiguous memory allocations. So in this technique, the memory is divided into partitions equal to the different size. For example, you have divided the equal size of partitions, or you have divided unequal size of partition. But this partition is fixed. So whenever you are going to execute a program, that will be loaded in this fixed size of partition. The operating system always resides in the first partitions, while the other partitions can be used for the user processes. The memory is assigned to the process is a contiguous way. Okay, so you cannot allocate the memory to at the different spaces if the memory is not available. Okay, so in fixed partitioning, the partitions cannot overlap, and second, a process must be continuously present in the partitions for the executions. So if process is not continuously present, then we cannot execute the process properly in the contiguous partitions. Okay. Now here you can see this figure shows the examples of the contiguous partitions. For example, this is the fixed partition and this is the variable partition. So here you can see these are the fixed partitions, that is 8 MB, 8 MB, 8 MB, 8 MB. So this total 64 MB is divided in these fixed partitions. But this fixed partition is of the equal size. Okay. And here you can see in the first partition, operating system resides always, and here you can see that is the example of the variable partitioning. Here the again operating system will be resides in the first partitions, and here you can see this is the unequal partitions of the fixed partition, but this partition is always fixed. Now here, what are the advantages of the fixed partitioning? Easy to implement because just you have to divide in the equal size or in the unequal size, whatever the need is that, but it is easy to implement. So algorithm needed to implement the fixed partitions are easy to implement, and it is simply to requires putting a process in a certain partitions without focusing on the emergence of the internal and external fragmentation. We will not take care of whether it is the external fragmentation or whether it will be the internal fragmentation. We will just put the that particular process in the memory area. But here the little operating system overhead is that, so processing of the fixed partitions require lesser access and indirect computational power. So little operating system overhead is there. But what are the disadvantages of this fixed partitioning? So which are the disadvantages? One is the internal fragmentation is that. So what is the internal fragmentation? Main memory use is inefficient, and any program, no matter how small, occupies an entire partitions. So this can cause the internal fragmentation. Now what is the meaning of the internal fragmentation? For example, the process you have that you are going to be executed, that is of the size 6 MB, and you have the total partitions of the 8 MB. So when you are going to reload or load that particular process into fixed partitions, the 2 MB space will be free. Okay, so that 2 MB space, free space, that is known as the internal fragmentation. And now this 2 MB 2 MB space you cannot use for the any other process if the process is of not of the same size. Okay, so that 2 MB, that is known as the internal fragmentation. Now again it is suffer from the external fragmentation. The total unused space, as stated above, all of the various partitions cannot be used to hold the processes, even though there is a space available but not in the contiguous form, as the spanning is not allowed. So what is the meaning of this? For example, you have the three processes that is stored in the, for example, you have just three 8 MB partitions. Now the processes that arrive, that is process 1, process 2 and process 3, that all are of the size suppose 6 MB. Now all of you now you are storing that process in the three partitions, that is partition 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now each and every partitions we have 2 MB space free. Now another process that comes, that is again of the 6 MB size, but we have the total available space, that is 6 MB size, but that space is not contiguous. So that's why we cannot allocate that newly arrived process for the execution, as there are external fragmentation is there in the that memory area. So that is the disadvantage of this fixed partitioning. Now again the another disadvantage, that is the limitation of the size of the process. There's limited numbers of the process we can give for the execution. So if the process size is larger than the size of the maximum size partitions, then the partitions cannot be loaded into the memory. Suppose you have the fixed size of partition, that is 8 MB, and the newly arrived process had just size 1 MB larger than that fixed partition. We are not able to execute, we are not able to load that particular process into partitions. So limitations of the size on the process. So you can do the variable partitioning for that particular type of the process. Degree of the multiprogramming is less. So by degree of the multiprogramming, we simply mean that the maximum number of processes that we can load it into the memory at the same time. So that is less. Now here you can see, just see the example of the internal fragmentation and external fragmentation over here. So here the process P1, process P2, process P3 and process P4 is that they all of the size 3 MB, 3 MB, 3 MB and 3 MB. Now they will be stored in this space that in the partitions that is the size of the 4 MB. So process 1 is stored in this partition 1, size of the 4 MB. Again for the process 2 will be stored in the partition, again it is of the 4 MB, same with process 3 and process 4. But now what will happen? All the processes have the size that is a 3 MB, and this 1 MB space is free in each and every partitions. So in each and every partitions 1 MB space is free. That space is known as the internal fragmentation. Okay, and now this total, if you will do the total of this unused space, then it is become the 4 MB. So total 4 MB space is free, and if the newly arrived process P5, that is of the 4 MB, and still we are not able to allocate to this memory allocation because it is not contiguous. So we can say there is an external fragmentation is there in this allocation. Got it? Okay, now next is the dynamic partitioning. Okay, so the disadvantage of the disadvantage of the fixed partitioning will be overcome by the dynamic partitioning. So dynamic partitioning tries to overcome the problems that is caused by the fixed partitioning. In this technique, the partition size is not declared initially. It is declared at the time of the process loading. Okay, so in dynamic partitioning, we are not defining the size of that particular partitioning at the in advance. We just define that partition when the process is there in the execution. So the pause partitions reserved for the operating system, as in the fixed partitions also. The size of the each partitions will be equal to the size of the process. Now, the partition size varies according to the need of the process so that internal fragmentations can be avoided. Okay, so we can avoid the internal fragmentation in dynamic partitioning. Now here you can see what is the meaning of the dynamic partition. Here the process P1, process P2, process P3 and P4 is there. Here the first operating system is there and rest of the memory is contiguously available. Now the process P1 comes, so for the process P1 we require the 5 MB data, 5 MB size. So 5 MB size will be allocated to the process 1 and it will become partition 1. Then next process 2 is there, so it is of the 2 MB size. So contiguously 2 MB size will be allocated to the process 2 and it will become the partition 2. And next the process P3, so it is of the size 3 MB and again the 3 MB space will be allocated to the process 3 and it will become partition 4. Same is it will become the partition of 4. Okay, so process size is equal to the partition size, that is known as the dynamic partitioning. Now, what are the what are the advantages of the dynamic partitioning? Okay, so what are the advantages? No internal fragmentation is there. So as you know, this partition size is equal to the process size. So we don't have any internal fragmentation in it, and no limitations on the size of the process. Number of the processes are there in the executions because we are dividing the partition according to the process size. So we have the space, so we can load the newly arrived process if the space is available. So no limitations on the size of the process. Sorry, degree of the multi-programming is dynamic. Okay, so due to the absence of the internal fragmentation, there will not be any unused space in the partitions. Hence, more the process can be loaded in the memory at the same time. So degree of multi-programming can be increased in the dynamic partitioning. But which are the disadvantages? External fragmentation is there. Okay, so in the dynamic partitioning, again we have the disadvantage of the external fragmentation. Let's see. So here you can see the same example that we have taken in the last slide. Operating system is there and there are 4 processes that P1 to P4. Now what will happen? Suppose now P1 and process P3 has completed its task. So now this space is free now. In starting, the partitions will be divided according to the process size. But when the process will release that particular space, we have that partition that is fixed. So now, if the newly arrived process, here you can see in this figure, process P2 is that, process P4 is that right now in the execution. That is of the size 2 MB and that is of the size 4 MB. But now the process P1 and process P3, that is of the size 5 MB and that is of the size 3 MB, that is free right now. So we have the partition of 5 MB free partition and 3 MB free partitions because the process P1 and P3 has completed its task. Now the newly arrived process, for example P5. But P5 has the size that is the 8 MB. Okay, so P5 has the size that is 8 MB. Now we have two partitions, 5 MB and 3 MB. So total we have the space 8 MB is free. But we are not able to allocate this process P5 to this partition because we don't have the contiguous space. Okay, so that is again known as what? The external fragmentation. Got it? So this dynamic partitioning suffer from the external fragmentation. And again, the complex memory allocation, that is also the disadvantage of the dynamic partitioning. So in the fixed partitioning, the list of the partition is made once and will never change. But in the dynamic partitioning, the allocation and deallocation is very complex since the partition size will be varied every time. Suppose, for example, now 5 MB partition is free and again the 3 MB process will come, so 3 MB will be allocated to that and again the 2 MB will be free. Okay, so the allocations will become dynamically. So here the complex memory allocation is there. So due to the fact that the allocation and deallocation are done very frequently in dynamic memory allocation and partition, size will be changed at each time. So it is going to be very difficult for operating system to manage everything. Okay, so every time it has to manage which partition is free, how many space is free. Okay, so every time operating system have to take care take care, and it has to keep track of everything what is going to be done. Okay, so in this video we have learned about the memory partitioning. So we have learned about the two types of partitioning, that is the fixed partitioning and the dynamic partitioning. Okay, and in fixed partition there is a disadvantage of the internal as well as the external fragmentation, and in dynamic partitioning we have the disadvantage of the external fragmentation. In next lecture we will see how to solve the problem of the dynamic partitioning using the first fit, base fit, and next fit technique. So whatever the available partition we have, so according to that available partition, so how we can allocate the process to that particular space, that we will see in the next lecture. So thank you for watching. We will meet in the next lecture with a new topic. Thank you.